point number 4, we're going to talk about list servers. This is sort of an optional thing if you think you might have a need or use to set up an email group. We call these things list servers, also Yahoo groups, and again, there's actually other people besides Yahoo that runs them. There used to be one called Topica, and now we have Google Groups. I'm kind of stuck with Yahoo. They seem to offer the most features, plus I'm familiar with them at this point, so there's always a learning curve when you switch. If you want to run any kind of an email announcement system, a list server or a Yahoo group is something to consider. Basically, it's kind of like sending a letter to the editor of the newspaper. If you think about it, you send a letter to the editor of the newspaper, that gets published and it gets distributed to all subscribers of the newspaper. In a similar way with an email list server like Yahoo, you send your email announcement to the list server, and it basically distributes a copy of that to every subscriber of the list server. There could be 10 subscribers or 400 subscribers in the list server. However many people belong to it, every one of those will get a copy. Now you might say, well, we can do this out of our personal address book, as many people do. What's the advantage of going to all this complication of a list server? Well, there's several advantages to using a list server, and I'll try to run over those now. One big advantage of a list server is that people can unsubscribe or subscribe themselves. This is assuming the list server is set to an open setting. This can be varied, but with like the Track2 RailNet and the Track2 DanceNet, which I run for this area in north central Pennsylvania, anybody can subscribe to this list when they want to. If they don't want the announcements anymore, they can unsubscribe themselves. So nobody should ever be saying, I'm getting email from you that I don't want, because they can unsubscribe themselves. Secondly, the list server automatically creates a web page archive of your message. So if you send an announcement about a ballroom dance at the Genetti 2 weeks from now, or you send an announcement about a ballroom dance at the Genetti that was 2 weeks previously, it creates an archive page of this. So if you want to refer to that announcement, even if you're not at your computer, or if you've lost that message on your computer, you can go to the web page archive and pull that announcement up and look at it. Now, they don't save the pictures any longer. They used to save the pictures back about 4 years ago, but currently it only saves the text. So you don't have the complete announcement, but you still got all the text information. Again, this assumes the list server is set to an open setting. You can set that, you can set it closed so the public can't see the archives. There's variable, like everything with computers. There's always a million different ways you can set these, but I typically set them open so anybody can look at the archives for the announcement list servers like I'm running. A third point of advantage of list servers is your address book is in a safe place. It's in a private database, and it is private. People can't get to it on Yahoo, all the addresses of the subscribers. So if your computer crashes, you haven't lost your address book. It's safe with Yahoo. Likewise, if you're away from home or your computer's down and you need to send a message, you can still log on to Yahoo from any other computer using your username and password and send a message out through the list server. Additionally, you can have multiple announcers can send using the same address book. Let's say you've got a list server with, say, 5 different people announcing dances. All 5 of those people can use the same address book without having to maintain it. You can even have a different person maintaining the address book. This would be the case, maybe we have a list server for 2 model railroad clubs, the Loose Ties Model Railroad Club and the Susquehanna S-Gaugers. In this instance, I currently maintain the list servers for both those groups. When I say maintain them, I mean keeping the address books up to date, but other people, officers, can post messages on those list servers. So it's kind of division of labor with the address book, plus it allows multiple people to have access to the address book. Okay, here we are looking at the home page of the Dances list server. People may not normally use this page a whole lot, but basically what this is, it's a web page created by Yahoo It is the home page for the list server. Whenever people send an email announcement, as I mentioned, it goes out to all the subscribers, but in addition, assuming the list server is set up that way, it creates an archive web page of all those announcements. Now again, this is an announcement list server, the Track2DanceNet, announcing dance events for Williamsport, Pennsylvania area. So we want everybody to see it that wants to see it. It's like advertising. It's like when you put something in the newspaper, you don't want to restrict it. You want everybody to see it that can see it. You can make these private so people can't browse them publicly like if it was confidential information, but this isn't confidential. It's like the newspaper. We want everybody to see it. Now here's a perfect example. Here's an announcement that reads, this weekend's dance events in the Williamsport area, sent out by a very hard-working, ambitious gentleman named Bill Mahoney. Let's say you saw this announcement earlier, but you were away from your computer, or if your computer went down, well, you could still access this information from another computer, even though you couldn't retrieve that email you received from the list server. You could go to the home page on the web, which is what I'm doing here now, and click on this message, and there it comes. There's the details of that message that was sent earlier today, what's going on this weekend in Williamsport, Pennsylvania as far as dance announcements. Now we're back to the home page of the list server. Over on the left there's a link here called titled Members. Now I'm logged into the list server as a moderator. The public can't see this. If you went to this list server yourself, you wouldn't have access to this link, because for privacy purposes you don't want spammers in there reading the members' addresses. But as the moderator, being logged in with my moderator privileges, it allows me access to this members link, which I just click now. And there we go. We have a list of all the members. So as a moderator, I can browse these members. I can tell if their email addresses are bouncing. It tells me that. I can see if they're current, anything like that. I can delete members as a moderator. I can add members, whatever needs to be done. Here we are again back on the Track2.com home page, and if you look at the position of the cursor, there's an entry down here titled List Servers, parenthesis, Email Announcement Systems. Again, there's a little link there called Info, and if you click on that link, that'll give you additional information along the lines of what I've been discussing here today.